best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Work Lonely Flowers is his special. It's on Hulu. It's a hit. You should watch it. A lot of people are saying it's perfect, that he and Bill Burr have the best comedy specials going at the moment. He also has a fun show, a news show, Have I Got News for You, on CNN and Max. And now he's doing Celebrity Jeopardy, and he's sitting courtside at a Knicks game with his idol, Tom Joyner. So there's a lot to talk to him about. Also, he's sitting opposite a very bitter grandpa Shaq as he just takes out everyone in the league for some reason by just sitting across from Roy. And then all of a sudden, Shaq is just crucifying everybody. So you sat there, Roy Wood Jr., across from Shaq, and you thought what? As he just let everyone in the league have it for some reason when you sat down opposite him.
Here's the crazy thing about my episode on Shaq's podcast. That was the last 10 minutes of the podcast today. We talked about everything but basketball for an hour. And then just at the end, hey, do you think Biggs will evolve? I'll elbow Wemby in the mouth and knock his teeth out and make him quit. And I was just like, hey, he played, I didn't. I just need to be quiet on this one. Like, I'm not sure if I completely agree, but this is not the place to disagree. I'll just put it that way. Like, you know, Shaq earned the right to take these shots. I don't know why he does it all the time. I will say that. But, you know, it was fun to sit with him in his element. But you could tell, just being right across from him, that he really is annoyed with the way the game is being played currently.
I think that you probably, I don't know how many times you've been around Shaq, but this happens all the time around Shaq.
That was my first time meeting him.
Okay, so did you do what everyone does about Shaq? Because you know going in, there's a thing you know about Shaq, that he's giant. And yet still, when people get next to him, they're like, God, he's big. Like, you know it going in, and you still don't really actually know it.
Yeah, no, it was cool to just talk basketball with him for a second, but the way my question that I didn't get to in the room with him would have been like, everybody wants 90s basketball, but if you got 90s basketball without 90s referees, you're still like, Shaq would be teed up and tossed before the second quarter. If you're talking about elbowing Wemby in the mouth and then taking Chet Holmgren to the hole every time, like, I don't know if we're gonna ever be able to play like that again. Like, I wonder if aggression to a degree has been kind of legislated out, you know, and to everybody else's point on that podcast, you know, these kids now, like, there's no benefit to being the murderous, killer, death stare college basketball player anymore. That's going to mess up your NIL money. Nobody's going to let you do Experian tax app commercials if you're the mean growling person. So I don't know if that mentality will even exist in basketball at the lower levels in another 5 years, man.
Greg Cody has alleged here, and we haven't even gotten to this today, that Florida has ruined college basketball, and the transfer that the transfer portal has ruined college basketball.
Well, yeah, not Florida. I mean, Florida is merely taking advantage of what the NCAA has allowed. But do you agree? I mean, we've had more than 2,000 transfers just in this window, and
I was afraid that was going to happen. When
I saw
you were
the little
coughing.
hiccup.
Yeah,
Well,
I was afraid that was going to happen. He was coughing as I was going
Hasn't
to him.
talked
He
in a
was
while,
coughing, and I saw on his face that he was about to cough.
Tried to fight
He
through.
was trying to muffle the cough, and it just became clear that he was not going to win that fight.
Okay, I want to ask Roy that as much as it benefits the good teams, the rich get richer now because of the transfer portal, but it's been bad for the sport, I think, because it's chaotic now. You had players transferring from teams that made the Sweet 16 this year during the tournament. Yeah. It just seems ridiculous to me.
I think I don't know how you salary cap it per se, but I think that there's a very good way to keep this down. I think it was Carmelo Anthony on his podcast that said 2-year minimums. But, you know, Melo was also talking about just take the student part out of it and just let these schools hire basically athletic mercenaries to play for them, to represent the school. I do think that's the eventuality of where NIL is headed in another 10 years if we don't rein it in. But the idea of locking a student in for at least 2 years if you transfer, I think is something that's fair. I don't think we're never going to go back to the old days. So this idea of Mount St. Mary's punching up and beating Kentucky, done. That stuff's gone. Mount St. Mary's got to get their money up and figure out how to sell cocaine on the side of the university. I do feel like you have to keep the money in the sport. That's fair to the kids. What's happening with NIL is that it's all of the outside cash and all of the outside influences that are changing all of this. When you got kids hawking card, here's a bigger question about NIL. Has anybody been influenced to buy anything from any of these children you've seen on TV? I'm not here to mess up your bag, but seeing Flau'jae Johnson tell me I can get my credit straight, I know my credit bad, Flau'jae. Get your money, girl. But also, you weren't going to influence me any more than the next person was to buy the thing. 9 times out of 10 is word of mouth. So I think that college hoops is going to become D1 and D2 in a sense where you're going to have and have nots. And that's just what you got to get used to. You just got to hope that one school has a loyal dummy who doesn't transfer because his daddy went there or something stupid.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does Mount St. Mary need to sell cocaine on the side to keep up in the NIL game at Le Batard Show? Celebrity Jeopardy here. How do you prepare for it? How scared were you or not scared were you?
We got the semifinals tonight. I won last month. It's fun because you're raising money. I'm raising money for I See Me Incorporated, a nonprofit in Birmingham that promotes literacy in children. If you can read, you don't go to jail. They got the statistics to prove it. So you're excited because you're helping people, but you also don't want to be the one that's embarrassed. I can't say whether or not I won or not tonight, but there was a question I got wrong that was extremely easy that I know tomorrow morning my social media mentions are it's going to be some chit chat and accountability that's going to be needed for me for getting that particular question wrong. You can't prepare for it. Either you're dumb or you're not, and it's too late to cram. Like, what are you going to do? Learn all the solar system, moons of Jupiter before you get out there in front of Ken Jennings? And I tried to cram because I know my soft spots. Greek and Roman mythology, because there's no reason for us to ever have learned that in the first place. I'm not good with Shakespeare. I'm not good with the Bible. And I'm shaky on U.S. vice presidents. Like when you get into Spiro Agnew, heads of chief of staffs, and who was the 8th dude on the Watergate tape, that type of stuff.
They
I don't know
do
any
that
of
to the celebrities. It's always easier for the celebrities.
I know. And that's why I feel confident now. All I need to know is like what a raccoon is and recognize 2 statues. Because it's a lot of stupid celebrities. There really should be, like, you want to talk about tier 1, tier 2. There should be smart celebrity Jeopardy and then dummy celebrity Jeopardy.
I want to ask you some follow-up questions without getting you in trouble about your future embarrassment tomorrow. Surely, contractually, you could give us some hints about why and how you're embarrassed without betraying Celebrity Jeopardy.
I don't know if I can give away category. Can I give away? I'll say this.
I don't think you can.
I need to know more geography. I'll just say that. And the thing about Jeopardy tricks you because it's how they word the question and the amount of time you have to answer it, and the pressure of it forces you to say something stupid. And it's not that you don't know it, it's that the way you worded the question confused me. Like, it's like when I don't know, you remember, Dan, you come home late 3 a.m. and your girl is like, so you were with the strippers. And you're like, what? So you were. Like, no, you didn't give me a chance to, and it's too late. You should have just said, were you at the strip club, yes or no? But they don't frame the question that way. They frame it in a way where your brain can't process it, and then you look dumb, and then strangers heckle you.
I'll choke in those circumstances because you're not wrong that the pressure will get to you. You will know an answer, and you will freeze up.
Yeah, but it's fine. I was happy to do it. I had more fun at Jeopardy than I did Wheel of Fortune or the Pyramid. No, I had the most fun at Jeopardy because Wheel of Fortune, you're just setting up the next person to win, and it's luck. You got to hope they screw up, and then you get to solve the puzzle. It's got to kind of fall in your lap. Pyramid, if you lose, you're sitting across from the stranger who you cost $50K, and they're a little mad. And Like that I feel kind of bad about because that's not for charity. That's like a regular person who needs that money. So I didn't like the pressure of that.
You've won a best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
I am very excited right now.
Wow.
And the audience is about to be very excited as well. Before we unveil this exciting thing, I would say one of the most exciting things that ever happens around here. I will tell you a story I have not told before, which is in negotiations with ESPN, when we were wrestling them over who gets to own what sounds, ESPN won only one time. We got the entire rest of our library, but there was only one sound they wouldn't let us have.
You won all the sounds. Is what you're saying.
We won.
Okay.
Sound champion.
We won all the sounds in negotiations, but the sound that ESPN wanted to keep that we could not have, we have just had to pay a lot of money to play for you now because they have the rights to the sound. It's been a nightmare trying to get a music sound to pay for rights to things.
That's valuable, man.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
they kept it. They're building their entire network around it. That's why they wouldn't give it to us. Tim Kirkshin on loan right now, only because Mike McQuaid's in charge now, God bless him.
I would say Tim Kirkshin is probably at the top gold medalist in terms of guests that our fans love the most. I would say it's Kirkshin, Stan Van Gundy, and Ron McGill. I mean, this is an exciting day, Dan. We're talking baseball with Timmy Kirkshin.
So we'll put him immediately in an awkward spot by asking him, does Buster Olney look like the... I haven't even started yet.
I know, but Buster grew up on a farm and he was telling me about milking cows the other day. Every time I think about that, I have to laugh.
Because you're imagining him doing it in his suit?
No, because we got in a discussion about milking a cow, and I told him I'd milked one cow in my entire life. It was a disaster at Ferguson Farm when my daughter was in the 5th grade. And I said he, meaning the cow, was not interested in giving up a lot of milk. He, to which Buster started to scream at me. Guy grew up on a dairy farm. I didn't even know that it was only the females that give milk. Did you guys know that?
I didn't. Of course we did, Timmy.
Male cows are bulls.
Duh.
You were the cow at a moment. I didn't know that.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that it was only the female cows who give milk? I'd like to hear more here, but Buster Olney looks like the...
He's thinking about the cow. I mean.
I was just thinking about Jeff Van Gundy, too. God, he's so funny. My
Queen of
God.
Hearts.
Jeff Van Gundy. What was the first one I ever heard? Jeff Van Gundy looks like
The Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts, Timmy.
Wait, the medical examiner who does an autopsy while eating a ham sandwich.
He remembers.
Yeah, well, he remembers a lot of them. People walk up to him.
Wasn't he in the Cold commercial, too? We had one of those, I think.
He gets them all the time just walking around. People repeat that. Didn't somebody repeat it to you at the White House?
Yes. A Secret Service agent. I walked by him at the White House. This was years ago. He didn't say hello. He just acknowledged my presence and said, Andy Reid looks like, and kind of had an ellipsis after that. And then I walked away and he said, don't mind if I do. That was the Secret Service agent. Fellas, I'm not making this up. Every day of my life, every day, somebody comes up to me and says something about the stupid Le Batard Show looks like. Yesterday, a guy tackled me at the grocery store and just said, Adam Silver looks like the lone French fry in a bag of onion rings. And then he just like kept on walking.
That's how you do
This
it,
is
yeah.
what your show has done to my life.
Buster Olney looks like the dad who doesn't want to confront another parent in the carpool line, so he flips them off under the steering wheel.
Well, that's inaccurate because I know Buster very well, and he might be the first guy to get out of the car and say, "You jumped in line in front of me, move out."
Wow.
He wouldn't do it under the steering wheel. He would go right into the guy's face. Buster is a buster on every level.
But Timmy, you would do it under the steering wheel, right? You would.
Yeah, I'm not sure the last time I ever did that, but yes, I've told you guys I get a little bit more impatient in a car than I should. And it worried me that I read some story once that your personality in your car is your true personality. So that worries me a little bit because I can get a little impatient while driving a car.
Can you guys, before the end of this segment, have a series of have you ever questions for Tim Kirkshin? Because I imagine there are a lot of things that Tim Kirkshin has never done. And have you ever actually shot the middle finger at somebody?
I don't know. I have not. Now, I have done it by myself, probably to myself, but I don't think I've ever done that to another human being.
He would answer that question
I believe
honestly,
him. Yeah.
and I also love that he's so naughty that he would only do it to himself in a private area so no one else can see him doing it. I believe that he's
Hard
that
to turn that finger.
he's that fundamentally decent. Adam Silver looks like a torpedo bat.
He's the commissioner. There are more looks likes about him than anybody else. It's ridiculous.
Jim Rome looks like the guy who regularly takes practice golf swings in his office. Tim, what you're doing right now, we'll talk about baseball in a second, but there are a handful of projects that my friends are doing that are genuinely moving to me, and I love seeing you at this point in your career doing a podcast with your son that has so much love in it and baseball, but all the things that I love about the relationships that fathers and sons can form around baseball. It is so very cool to hear the interactions between you and your son with him bringing out a side of you that people probably haven't seen before, even though they think they know plenty about you because you trust your son to be your producer and host. And it's just lovely. It's a lovely podcast that you do.
Well, thank you. He's the producer. He's the director. He's the co-host. He's the technical advisor. He is the marketing guy. He does everything for the show. All I do is show up now 3 days a week and provide some content. He does everything else. And I told you guys, I drive from Maryland 3 hours to his house in Philadelphia to do the podcast, A, because it's better face-to-face, but B, if something goes wrong with the technology, he will be there to fix it, to repair it, whereas I, being the worst of all time at this, if anything goes wrong with my computer, I am completely lost. I am the worst of all time at so many things, but nobody is worse at technology than me.
Tim, 3 hours, 3 times a week you're driving for
I mean,
that?
with all due respect, I mean, he should be driving to you. I mean,
No. It's not all three. We just went to 3 days a week. So once a week, I'm driving 3 hours to my son's house to make sure that the show goes properly. We have learned how to do it remotely. He set up everything in my house, so I know how to do it. But no, he should not be coming to me. He has a 1-year-old daughter, my granddaughter, so there's no way we're going to make him work when I'm the one that can easily get in the car and drive.
So we will get to baseball stuff in a second with Tim, but for those of you who do not know, right, he's an extraordinary family man. I have seen him be better with his mother than I've seen almost any adult ever be with a parent late in life, and he recently lost his brother, and the reason the podcast that he's doing now is so moving to me is because I know how much his brother loved baseball, but I just can't believe the amount of joy that Tim must be getting from the simple act of being able to do this with his son. It's just extraordinary to hear love on a podcast that way. It's what, Tim, the reason I love it so much is the most meaningful thing I've done professionally is be able to get old next to my father on television, because it gave me an entirely different relationship with my father than I had before that.
Right. Well, I always have had a great relationship with my son, Jeff, but it's gotten way better, if that's possible, through the podcast. And now we talk about 25 times a day. Who are you going to have on as the next guest? What are the questions for this week? What's the question quandary? We go over this every single day. We're taping today at 11 a.m., and I can't wait. It has been the highlight of my entire career, and I don't care how corny that sounds. This is something we've always wanted to do. We laugh and we learn. And the good thing is, Jeff's not a big baseball fan. So he's a good baseball fan. He doesn't know a lot because he grew up watching Whose Line Is It Anyway instead of watching every baseball game every night like his dopey pop-pop. So he knows so much about pop culture and music and everything else. And I don't know anything except for baseball and basketball and sitcoms from the 60s. So we're a good combination.
I will tell our audience, who supports all the things we love and supports the people who have supported us, that the name of the podcast is This a Great Game or What? He does it with his son, Jeff, and I encourage all of you to listen to it because it really is intimate and sweet.
Timmy, the Padres, the best team in baseball?
They are today, yeah. Now that's going to change because everything changes in baseball. But fellas, they got 6 shutouts already. Their starting pitching is really good. Their offense even hasn't really gotten going. Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill is hurt. Luis Ariz hasn't gotten going yet, and they still find a way to score runs. They're really good, but I'm telling you, fellas, the season began, and I saw the 6, maybe 7 best teams in baseball were all in the National League, and the Padres were one of them. So they are a very dangerous team, and they're not afraid of the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to be the best team in baseball before this is over. But right now, I just did our power rankings this morning, and I picked the Padres first in baseball.
Tim, what's something the first few weeks of the season that you think you're second guessing? I thought this going into the year, but now I've seen something and I'm thinking differently about it.
Well, I had the Braves definitely going to the playoffs, and I'm not giving up on the Braves yet, but they have really labored. Now, they got Spencer Strider coming back today, which is a real helpful thing because he throws 100 with nasty, nasty secondary stuff. But I thought the Braves would be obviously better than this, but once they get Acuna Jr. back, and we're not positive when, that's been the big surprise for me is how they have struggled and how good the National League West has been. I knew the Giants were better. I knew the Diamondbacks were good. Padres are good. Dodgers good. But right now, that is a historically good division 3 weeks into the season.
Are the Braves struggling the biggest surprise of the season?
I'm sorry?
Is the Braves struggling so far early in the season the biggest surprise?
Yeah, I think team-wise, but Roy, the best part about this season is just how crazy and how unpredictable it has been, which has been every year. I mean, you know, Rafael Devers went 0 for his first 21, but first 19 at-bats, he struck out 15 times in 19 at-bats. He's a really good hitter. At least 24 times I have slapped my forehead this season saying, how in the world could this have happened? I mean, right now, Tyler Soderstrom is leading the major leagues in homers. Wilmer Flores is leading the league in RBIs. Jonathan Aranda is leading the major leagues in batting average. This cannot happen in the NFL or the NBA that 3 weeks into the season, 3 players who are good players would be leading the entire major leagues. This is why baseball is the greatest game. It is way too good to be predicted. Good players are bad players are good. It makes absolutely no sense.
Hey, Tim, always a pleasure to be able to talk baseball with you. Have you ever asked a friend to help you get tickets to something?
All the time. And look, I don't want to be Mr. Ethical here, but I was taught at a very young age in the newspaper business, you do not take anything from anybody. I did a golf tournament in 1981, the Memorial, and they gave me a little notebook to take home with me that said Memorial on it. And my boss, Dave Smith, made me mail it back to the golf course saying, you don't give any of our guys anything for free. Yes, people ask me for tickets all the time, and I just have to politely say no. One guy, former pretty good player, Sandlot player, asked me if there's any way I could get him on the field. He was 55 years old, to hit and see if he could hit a ball over the wall at Fenway Park. He asked me if I could arrange that for him. I think that was the last day I spoke to him, because that was the most ridiculous request ever.
Zaslow, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty certain that Timmy knows Eddie Vedder. I'm pretty certain. Yes.
Is this a true story, Tim?
Yeah, of course he knows Eddie Vedder.
I met Eddie Vedder once at the ballpark in Wrigley, but I wasn't sure how great he was until people told me, "Hey, you met Eddie Vedder. He's like the greatest of all time."
Wait, you've got so many. Wait, Tim, you've got this happened to you with Pitbull. This has happened. What is the most embarrassing time that it's happened where someone very famous is meeting you and you know so little about the world, pop culture, and anything other than baseball that you've insulted this person by not knowing who they are?
Well, I met Nickelback on an airplane once. The entire band was on somehow we got in a conversation with them. So I said, "So who are you guys?" And they said, we're Nickelback. And there was absolutely no understanding on my part. And I said, "Honestly, this is so bad. I'm so embarrassed."
It's not that bad. It's all right.
I said, "What is that?" And he
okay.
said, "Oh, we're a musical band or a group or whatever they called it." So I was sitting with Nickelback. They
Coach?
explained who they were, and I didn't know who they were. That's how bad poor Pop is at so many things.
Oh, and that's
I love
sweet.
you so much,
You
Timmy.
you should really listen to Poor Papa's podcast. That's what the name of it should be.
Pop, that's fine.
Poor Papa.
Yeah, we have a segment every week, Dan, called Poor Pop-Up, because we go over something that everyone else in the world is capable of doing except for me. And then Jeffrey, who is a magician at doing so many things, he can fix anything, he can figure everything out. He explains how the world works in our weekly segment called Poor Pop-Up, where I just explain what a dope I really am.
Stugotz, have you heard from your guy yet?
I have not. No. Nope.
All right, we will stay on this because Stugotz and I are going to have to compete to see if we can get Zaslow some Pearl Jam tickets. You mentioned the rules of journalism. I could take anything under $25, but anything that was worth more than $25, I had to pay for. I was not allowed to do anything there beyond $25. You had $0, Tim? You could not accept a pen?
Well, I'm sure I accepted a pen, but back in the newspaper days, Dan, when I covered the Texas Rangers, they, of course, used to feed us in the press room every night, and it was for free because back then in the early 80s, the press room didn't charge as they do today. But my boss, Dave Smith, the guy who made me send the satchel back to the Memorial Golf Tournament, he made it very clear to the Rangers early on that we are not going to eat free in your press room. And he sent them like a $500 check so the beat writer, me, could eat for the season in the press room at Arlington Stadium. And then we had this discussion. Oh, my God. My sports editor and Doug Rader and I. Doug Rader was the manager of the Rangers in 1983. Dave Smith came down to meet him, and Doug Rader said, if we win the World Series this year, Tim will get a World Series ring because he's the beat guy. To which my boss, not recognizing how Doug Rader was just pulling a string, they got in this huge argument whether I should get a World Series ring or not. Needless to say, they didn't win the World Series, but if they had, I promise you, I would not have gotten or accepted a World Series ring.
You've won a best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
I need to know how badly you really like Pearl Jam because I don't have the tickets yet. I need a 10-second soundbite that Eddie Vedder will see because he makes the decisions and I need 10 seconds on why you deserve 2 tickets to the Thursday night show in Florida.
I've been seeing Pearl Jam every tour since I was 16 years old. They're one of the most important things in the world to me. And the best part about going to see Pearl Jam now is I now also take my now 16-year-old son. He accompanies me to all the shows that I go to. So it's a huge father-son bonding moment now. It's one of the greatest gifts I have in my life is seeing this band with my son.
I think you could do better. Yeah.
Too long.
This
Pretty
is going
great.
to Eddie Vedder, buddy, not to
He
David
loves
Sampson.
family. That was great with Eddie Vedder.
Sing something.
I wouldn't.
That wasn't great, man. That was
Sing something.
It
Give us
felt-
some Yellow Ledbetter.
It felt very rote. I need you
Wow.
to tap into emotion. I need you to get emotional. I need you to, that father-son bond, I need you to really bring it to the surface and also a little musicality to it, too.
Listen. Look at this face right here. Can the camera go on me, please? Not on a mean. Look at me. Look at this face. This is a tired face right here. This is a face that is stressed. This is not a healthy face right now. And the reason that this face looks like this right now is because this has consumed my life. I need to see Pearl Jam in my home city. I live just 10 minutes away from the Hard Rock Live, and I'm going to be sitting in my home on my couch in my underwear while Pearl Jam is playing the Hard Rock Live. I need to be at this show.
Yeah.
Too long.
We're going to have to take 3 with a couple rules. 1,
Sing.
no mention of skivvies. Let's start with that.
What's a skivvy?
Eddie's not interested in your undies.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever heard anyone refer to underwear as skivvies at Le Batard Show?
Only on TV.
What you want him to try a third time? What are these I appreciate that you're treating him like a trained monkey here, but I would like for you guys to actually negotiate.
No, but David
Well,
is saying this video is going to help David secure the ticket, so he needs it to be
Right. Thank
good.
you,
Listen,
Stu.
I
didn't
will
realize we needed a
I
translator.
will hit on something that will really tug on David's heartstrings here. Okay?
Zaz, if I may, here's the problem. You're delivering it as a radio professional, which means you have a great direct voice. It's clear, it's strong, but right now you're begging, buddy.
Well,
and you
no,
can't.
I don't think it's not nice. It's not right for me to grovel.
Well, you got to
okay?
grovel. It's Eddie Vedder.
No,
what you gotta do, Zaz.
I have self-respect. All right, I'm not going to grovel. I'm not going to grovel here. But
All right, then don't go to the show.
But something that
You've been groveling.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
been. You come in here today, use our platform to grovel.
Well, I mean, that's your interpretation. But I will say something that will tug at David's heartstrings here. I already told you. Some people work for food, okay? I will work for Pearl Jam tickets. That's right. I'm here. Actually, I'm here tomorrow, but I could also come on Friday. I work the rest of the week, David. I know how much you love saving money. I've seen it firsthand. Been a Marlin fan since 1993. I know how much you love
You're
saving
not trying
money,
to convince
okay?
David, though.
And
It's Eddie.
what do you mean I'm not trying to convince
Eddie.
David? Of course
Talk
I
to
am.
Eddie.
Okay,
Eddie
Zaz.
Vedder doesn't care about my time with the Marlins.
Now, Zaz, let me tell you right now, the tone you hit right there, excellent. That's where I want you to be. Stay right there.
Oh, but wait a
now
minute.
the content,
But
the content
wait.
has to be.
But now talk to Eddie.
I mean, you're right to coach him this way, but if we were to test sort of how Zaslow feels about things, however much he loves Pearl Jam, is how much he hates David Sampson saving money on the Marlins.
But the point is that David brought up, it's like you're not supposed to impress David. You're impressing Eddie Vedder. So talking about the Marlins, Eddie Vedder's like, I don't give a about the Marlins. He gives a shit about Pearl Jam. So use that tone, but talk about Pearl Jam. Bring back the Sun element. I really like that family vibe.
yeah.
Do that, but with that same
I mean,
tone.
he's missing something though.
What's he missing?
He has something. He has a ace in his back pocket that he hasn't played. He hasn't thought of it yet. He's got his own name in a Pearl Jam song done by this show that he could also put out and be like, listen to this.
true.
I'm so Pearl Jam. My name is the part of the song.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Ed.
And feel free to mention, Zaz, if you don't mind, that you did not get what you're wearing for free.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you pay for your merch, and they get a
paid
better
extra.
cut.
Yeah.
They get a better cut on the merch than they do
Okay.
on the show tickets.
Okay.
So
10
that's
Club
big.
member,
Amen.
tell him everything.
All right. Listen, I'm looking straight at you, Eddie Vedder, and your bandmates. I've
Wrong camera.
Okay, there we go. Ed, I'm looking straight at you, Ed, as you could tell by me looking right at the camera. Okay, I would never look at the opposite camera. I would never look at the wrong one. I'm looking right at you. I love your band so much. You have given me some of the greatest nights of my life since I was a young Jonathan Zaslow, since I was a young man trying to figure out who I am in this world, okay? You helped me discover who I am. And then, as I got older, I had children. and I now get to take my teenage boys to the shows with me. It's a family affair, Eddie, all right? And the idea that I would miss this time with my family and you, we're all part of it together. We're all a family. I gotta be there to see you at the Hard Rock Live next week to complete our family. We need to be together. And I paid for this right here, this merch, with my hard-earned money. That's right.
Excellent.
I work so that I could also buy merchandise.
Okay.
Now sing it.
Please stop
We're
pushing
good here,
him.
Stu.
Please,
Let's
please.
not get crazy.
Always asking for more. He
got it,
cannot
buddy.
help. He cannot help. It's going to say it on his tombstone. Always asking for more. I don't understand. Before we get to Zaslow,
Very nervous.
This is what I don't understand. Perhaps our crack training team here will explain to me what happened. Please explain to me how in the other room Tony wants to throw it to a song and surprises an executive producer with a thick song who's still looking for it because they didn't coordinate to play that song like producers would as Tony was talking about it.
There it is. Just under this.
Pounds his fist on the triple leg concrete. Oh, girl. Oh, dreamer. Hoping he'll see the legend Glenn Rice play more games. Oh, yeah. Oh, hands out. More on sandwiches and it's a little peculiar. Oh, yeah. Oh, thought of eating ribs with his hands is insane. Oh, yeah. John Zaslow, how you love that catchphrase. Bad news for opposing teams in the triple A. He's all smiles till the bronze are clutch again, clutch again, clutch again.
Samson, I need your help here. Close this out. Get him Pearl Jam tickets, and what does it cost? How much does he have to work for free?
So the video did help because I clipped, sent, response received.
What?
That was quick.
This is how we work here at Metalark.
It's a
pretty simple thing.
He's got a better ticket guy.
Eddie
than I
Vedder
do.
is more responsive than Stugotz's ticket guy.
He's got a better ticket guy than I do.
Said yes. I've seen this ticket guy at work. He's fantastic.
So here's how we're going to do it, Zaz, and we're organized enough to do this despite all evidence to the contrary, is that I would like to help make a memory for you and your son on Thursday night with 2 premium best tickets you've ever had.
What? Whoa,
For
what?
Pearl Jam.
Whoa,
And
premium.
in return,
You got
what I'm going to
premium?
need from you, I'm going to need your best work, and I'm going to need it throughout the Panthers' run to defend their Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So while the Panthers are still in the
Holy
playoffs,
For free,
I'm
you're
going to
saying.
need
Right.
2 appearances per round that they are in until they're
No,
eliminated.
that's nothing, David.
Easy
you got,
work.
David,
I'm in, David.
David, why are you starting
I'm
so
in.
low, David?
Right.
Why?
because they're going to go to the Stanley Cup, and we're
You're
going
right.
to get 6 to 8 days of Zaz for
He would
free.
do 6 months for free.
In-
That's what Dan is saying.
David.
You're coming in very cheap, David. David, that
I'm
do you not?
coming in to close.
That,
Yep.
David,
I'm a
David,
closer.
Yep, that's how you get a deal done. You know what I want.
I'm not going to be a schnorr.
Thank
I'm
you.
not going to grovel
Wait,
because he could have gone on Game Time and saved himself a
Love
few
Game Time.
seconds of video.
Love Game Time.
I've got to stop everybody here. Like Roy, you're as disappointed as I am here, right? Like that's
do
not
that.
that's not he. Do you know how much Zaslow would give up to have this?
I said
like
6 months.
having him come in here a few times.
Not a
like-
chore either.
like,
Love coming in
what
here.
do you-
Love
like,
it.
I don't have any idea. Samson, are you going to be negotiating on behalf of Metalark? Like I need you to not be if that's how poorly you do it.
I would like you to evaluate that at the end of the Stanley Cup run because my bet is the Panthers are going to go all the way, Sly Fox. And I believe that there is
Agreed.
an opportunity
Sly Fox.
to have Zaz add to your show make you happy and do it with the price.
I'll make you
being
so
right.
happy.
All right, so David, I know Zaslow was thinking this. He doesn't want to ask it. I'll ask for him. How about the second night?
What a schnurr! What a schnurr!
You're thinking it, though.
Well,
Mike
but,
Schnurr.
but wait a minute. So I feel like I can get the second night.
Ooh.
This is what I'm talking about.
I feel, but wait, but how much? What's legal here, David?
I already told my guy, forget it. I mean,
In terms of how
He didn't have a guy.
Stugotz was gonna be the hero, but
Buddy, I like to let other people shine. David, you can have this one.
But he's
How about you,
unselfish.
Dave?
He's
Yep.
unselfish. What can I do here to get the payoff? Are you here tomorrow?
Yeah.
for free.
David, are there legalities involved here? Because I don't feel like you
legalities?
negotiated that very well. I feel like we might
Someone
be
committing a crime?
like
Yeah,
we,
what
we,
happened?
well, I just feel like I'm just stunned that David came in so low on something that he got when the return he could have gotten is free work from an employee.
Maybe he appreciates that I'm a nice boy.
We are getting free work for what I perceive to be the chance of 8 extra days
Give you
plus
great
Friday.
coverage,
So
David.
that's
But
9.
David,
Great
we're
coverage.
telling you, Dan and I know Zaslow. He would have done 8 months, is what we're telling you.
Zazzle would work for free for a year for this company in exchange for what you're offering him.
Panthers don't play year round.
David, they're just calling you Nico Harrison right now.
You've won a best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Andrew, good seeing you. I am so glad you are not a Hollywood diva. I have seen you watching poor Amin El Hassan sweat in front of you because I feel so bad for Amin there. I mean, please, like nobody saw what you were going through there where the show careened into you. Everything that got to you was not working right because Wah Bellamy is wearing the outfit that can't allow him to do these things correctly. And so what we're left with is you naked in front of Andrew Santino performing a comedy bit that has gone south.
Dan, it's not just that. In front of any comedian, it would have been bad. But I'm such a huge fan of Andrew Santino and the Bad Friends podcast. Like, if it was anyone else, if it was Carlos Mencia, I'd be like, I'll take that L.
It's
But
just brutal. But what we just did to you is cruel. And I'm guessing that he would say, yeah, comedians kind of have to suffer on. It's going to be not funny in public and it's going to hurt. So, Andrew, welcome. I'm sorry that you had to witness all that.
That's okay. I love to watch people bomb. That's one of my favorite things to do is see other people just really tank it. The list was great. It just went on for about, 7 minutes too long, but it was good. Condense it next time, just a little bit, but trim the fat.
Yes, at any point, I was yelling at my thick-tongued producer to do that during that segment, but he was too busy telling me the hockey and basketball playoffs start, and he doesn't have time for the show. You understand?
Also, the Panthers outfit. Is this punishment? What is this? What is that?
You are exactly right. This is punishment. I have all the gear. Every last one of these pads and the jersey and everything. I'm wearing it right now because of a punishment.
Show him the skates.
I got skates as well.
And he's saying it's hard to
look
do
at
his
those.
job that way of executive producer because it is a physical punishment. Comedy. That's right, comedy.
Roy,
Yes, sir.
Roy, given what's going on right now, both culturally and economically, and don't you think you have a case here to be made for employee abuse and
I mean, I would if we had an HR here.
Wah.
Roy,
You wanted
Roy.
Wah.
let me let me represent you, please. I'll be your counsel.
I hope you're pro
I'll help you
bono.
out, man.
Yeah, pro bono.
Hey, don't talk like that, man. This is a family show.
Okay.
Andrew, thank you for joining us. You have rocketed. It's fun to see because you're doing it with your best friend and you're just laughing all day, every day. And now you've got a new podcast, and I'm pretty sure it's a scam from what I can see. I think you're just want to golf a lot, and so somebody's going to pay. Somebody's going to pay for it.
I'm living the dream.
So somebody's
Yes, I'm living the dream.
All right, so so what's explain it to me, please, because this is cheating here. So you're just going to feed your golfing addiction.
Yeah, well, look, I went on tour for 2 years with Bobby Lee, so I had to stare at Bobby Lee in his underwear for 2 years on a tour bus. So I think I'm owed a little bit from the universe for giving this love of comedy around the world. And so after 2 years of touring, and I shot my special that's going to come out on Hulu in September with Peyton Manning's company, Omaha Productions. Shout out to them. I wanted to take some time, and I had pitched this golf show. I said, I want to do this one whole walk and talk with celebrities, athletes, golfers, called No Bad Lies. And I give them deliberately bad lies, and all the while they tell me a time where life gave them a bad lie and how they recovered. And it was praised by many people in the business. They thought, oh, that's a great idea. And I said, I'm going to do it. So the first 2 episodes are out right now with Cam Smith and John Rahm. I'll give you a couple sneaky names that are going to be on the show. Charlie Day, Michelle Wie, Michael Phelps. We've got a host of people, not just, golfers, but also athletes and celebrities, and a few sneaky ones that are pretty impressive that I will say will come out later in the season. But yes, it's a way for me to play golf. So what, Dan?
Oh no, I actually think now, hearing you talk about it, you've changed my mind by the way that you talk about it, because I'm assuming that one of the things you're trying to do in the comedy space is show a vulnerable thing to people while also golfing. Like, for you as a comedian to be able to talk to athletes or whomever about, like, hey, can we talk about our feelings here for real? Like, it seems like that's something that you would do because you're interested in making good content. You're not going to just fart around out there and golf.
No, we are. The depth of the show is that I like this philosophical, tie-in of golf is like life, that it's going to give you a lot of bad lies. A lot of people go through, a divorce, a loss, tragic things happen in our lives, or just small hiccups. They don't have to be traumatic, but just like in golf, you have to find a way to recover. And I like this philosophy. I like this, it's not that comedic sometimes, but I like that world of, how do you recover in life? We're all put in bad situations, and how do you get out of it? We've had some funny stories. We've had some heartfelt stories. I'm excited for people to see the rest of the season. It gets really good, and it's funny. All the while I'm goofing and taking shots at myself, and it's also nice to see me take shots at, professional golfers who have to be kind of tied up all the time.
Can you tell me why it is that you disappeared? I was very disappointed in you, and I am happy for you and your success, but I thought we had a deal for you to be like a Chiefs correspondent during the run, because you're friends with Kelsey and you're friends with Mahomes, and you talk trash to your fan base by saying, I'm allowed to be friends with the Chiefs, but something got lost along the way, and then you disappeared. Was it the loss?
I went on tour.
Was it the loss?
No, it wasn't the loss. No, I just been on tour for so long. I'm trying to make money. I'm not like you. I don't have a big fancy studio with 19 employees that you can yell at and lash out whenever things aren't going your way. And whenever a bid isn't going right, I hear you in the headphones just ruining these people's egos. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, look what you did to Wah. You think Wah's going to go home tonight and feel good about this? He's going to sit in his kitchen and eat cold soup like he does at night. And this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt, Wah. Nod your head if this is hurting.
Yes,
this hurts, Wah. He can't even nod his head because of this neck brace you've got him in, both physically and metaphorically. Wah, if you need help getting out of there, can you close your fist? Can you close your fist like this? Put your thumb in your fist. Yeah, do it with the glove. Thank you, Wah. Very good.
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? I get it. He does take direction well. I do. I see what you're doing with him. This makes sense. Yeah. Fantastic.
You calling him Wah. Are you a hockey fan? Are you in any way a hockey fan? Like, what are your sports allegiances? How do they work?
Look, I like hockey. I would never claim to know a lot about it. Is the reference to I mean, I know Patrick Wah.
That's
I know that.
yeah. Well, that's what we were doing,
time.
but that's why I was laughing so hard at you calling him Wah again every time, because his name is Roy.
Well, I have to. I play into the bit. You give me the bit, I'm going to play into it. No, I do like hockey. I mean, look, I'm supportive of the Blackhawks. The Kane and Taves era was great. I think Bedard is one of the greatest young players I've ever seen. I think he's been dealt kind of a little bit of a tough hand, to be honest with you. People have their opinions about his attitude, but I'm supportive of the Hawks, and I do like hockey. But, basketball, baseball, and football that's my trifecta. That's the upper echelon. By the way, speaking of which, I went to the Cubs game to watch them smack around the Dodgers 16-0. One of the greatest games I've ever seen live in my entire life. It was incredible. I mean, I was laughing. I was just cracking up every time we were adding another
laughing
run.
At your Hollywood friends, like laughing. What is happening there? Why are you laughing? It
was just like, at some point I wasn't even cheering. I was just cracking up at how embarrassing this was, that the returning World Series champs are getting smacked around by a hodgepodge of guys that they thought, couldn't put up a fight against them in the series here. It's early. I know it's early in the season, but still, it was wonderful to watch. Wonderful to watch live. Go Cubs, go.
Hey, Andrew, quick question for you. Our show tries to be a great yes and show. We're not. You are excellent at yes and. What are some tips you can give our poor show to get better at it?
Well, Jeremy Taché.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. That was impressive.
When you were in that 2-shot here with him, right when you said we're not that good at being a yes and show, he did this. What? That's like the number one rule you don't do. Jeremy, that's an opportunity for you to go. See, there you go. That's an opportunity for you to go, yes, we are bad, and I'll tell you why. And then you go into why you guys are so bad, why you don't deserve your job. That's where it gets funny. That's where it gets
I'll never
clever.
admit I'm wrong. No, absolutely not.
You'll never admit you're wrong?
No.
Oh
I've
my
learned
God.
at the teat of Mike Ryan.
Teach them. Andrew, please teach them. Please.
Let me interview Taché real fast. Taché, where are you from?
I'm from down here in South Florida.
Stuttered. He stuttered right away. He got nervous. He thought about it. He was going to say what local area he's actually from. Then he did this like broad regional encompassing South Florida. He didn't want me to take a shot at the neighborhood. Where is it? Where are you from, Taché?
I am from Weston, Florida, which is an upper middle class suburb of Fort Lauderdale.
There we are.
Wait a minute.
We like it.
Wait, are you a surgeon? Can you do that, please, to him with every question you ask?
Well, sure. So upper middle class from outside of Fort Lauderdale. And Dad did what for a living?
My father was a financial advisor. Thank you for asking.
You look like a kid of a financial advisor.
I know I do.
The way you hold yourself. The way you hold your shoulders looks like a kid whose dad, was earning really good coin. Was Mom stay at home, Taché?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she stayed at home. This kid got, what's so funny about this guy? Wow, turn around real fast. Look at this guy and stare at him this whole segment. Taché is the kind of guy whose mom had food ready when he got home with his friends after school. She cut the crust off all his sandwiches. Taché never had dirt on his shoes. He always walked in the middle of the road. And when anybody was doing something up to no good, he'd go, guys, I don't think that's a good idea. That's Taché.
Oh, that's the most accurate thing you could have said the whole time. Still does that.
He is.
I can feel this guy. I can feel this guy I can feel him through the computer. Taché, I can't wait to meet you when I come down there. I love you. I'm just having fun with you. But
I love you too. This is great.
Don't be soft. You don't love him.
Thank you, Andrew.
I don't.
You will once you meet me. You'll really love me. That's what happened here.
No.
Everyone, once they got to know me, they really fell in love.
I don't know about that.
Andrew, you saw through him, and yeah, I don't.
Where'd you go to college? How about that, Dan? Where'd he go to college, Taché?
Surprise here. Went to a state school, University of Central Florida.
Oh, I respect you a little bit more. I got to tell you, that grew on me just a little bit. I got a little bit of love for you there.
Thank you.
UCF is good. Good for you. Okay, we'll take that. And then can I guess out of 3? I'm going to give 3 guesses, and I'll be done. 3 cars that I think you might drive. Let me get the camera on Taché one more time.
Hold on. Right now, 3 cars you think he might drive.
Yeah, I want to get what I think he might drive in 3 guesses.
Do any of us know those so we can know the payoff? Do any of us know what he actually drives? Can someone write it down? Can someone give it to me? Like, what's the payoff here? Do any of us know what the car is?
We know that. We know. We're not going to say it out loud.
Okay.
Obviously, Andrew has to guess, but we know.
Okay, I'm going to guess. For fun, I'm going to say a Mini Cooper because you seem like that kind of guy, a little cutesy-pootsy, parking around a Mini Cooper.
Oh, man, I love
Well, it
the
seems
Mini
like it's
Cooper.
easy to parallel.
No,
I
don't drive it, but I love it.
Hold on. Don't say it. 3 guesses. Just Mini Cooper is number 1. Number 2, I would say it's something humble, something in the realm of like a Honda Accord, something reliable, humble, something in that regard, because that gets you to. And then I would say,
Closer.
you're. Well then. You know what you are, Taché? You're in the Hyundai world. You're a Hyundai driver. You like Hyundai. And based on your look, I'm going to guess it's that town in down South Arizona. You're a Tucson.
No way! Hyundai Tucson. You're right. Unbelievable. It even has a Schitt's Creek sticker on the back of it.
Oh my God. Dude,
You would have
this
gotten there
guy is
eventually,
unbelievable.
man. You would have gotten there eventually. You would have figured that out.
So you're
Oh my
saying,
God.
I love Taché. I'll see you when you're down in Miami?
I love Taché. I'll see you when I'm down in Miami. I really do. Bring Wah along for the ride as well.
All right. So Wah
Can't
will
wait.
have, Wah
Have a
will
really
have to,
fun time,
Wah
I
will have
promise.
to go dressed like this. Yes or
What?
no? Yes. No. He looked pretty good walking into the room.
You've won a best of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.